Welcome to Out of the Ordinary, a podcast started by Studio Extra, where we challenge the narrative and highlight the beauty within people despite the challenges that they may face, and reclaiming the narrative on what beauty is truly means. So today we have a wonderful guest, a philanthropist, a pioneer in the world of diabetes, and somebody that I call a dear friend, Antoinette Watkins.
Philanthropist is like, I don't know, when I think of philanthropy, I think of like seed planter. So all I saw was like philanthropist. I don't know. That was dramatic, but I felt that was the truth.
But that's you. That's why you're a Diabaddie. So for those who don't know, Diabaddie is a nonprofit that connects young women and children.
Yes.
And teach them what it means to navigate through their journey of having type 1 diabetes.
Yes, we're a global community for baddies with type 1 diabetes that are breaking societal norms around that disease, because there's lots of them. And then we're also funding scholarships for the kids to go to diabetes camp and creating opportunities for future healthcare professionals. So if you are a healthcare professional and you know nothing about diabetes, we're going to fix that, because you need to know that there's tons of diabetes out there.
Amen. So when did you know that the world needed Diabaddie?
Oh, wow. I've never been asked this question before. So I want to say, I feel like the businessy or traditional thing to say would be when I started my business in 2019. But I felt it when I was 16. And I was actually in high school. And I wanted to start out as Diabaddie first. That, because I don't know why, but I was like Black Barbie, Diabaddie. So I started out with that, and I kind of like brought up the idea to my friends in high school, and I was just going to do like t-shirts. And my actual first ever Diabaddie t-shirt is like a drawn picture that I drew of Barbies with like sensors and Dexcoms and CGMs on. Yeah, I'll have to send it to you. I probably have it on my phone. Wow. But that's how that started when I was 16. I drew little pictures. I was like, oh, I'm going to have Diabaddie, and then I'm going to like have the first ever like diabetes Barbie line. Mm-hmm. Like always thinking big. Just
it's definitely possible. I mean, I see it. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Diabaddie Barbie?
Diabaddie Barbie?
Drop in 2028.
2028? 2020 next year, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, that's how it started when I was 16. And then, I don't know, it just kind of fell through the ground. I never really got on it. I'm essentially the first entrepreneur in my family. So the idea of it was like, not foreign to my parents, but I think they weren't sure how to exactly put me in a position to get all the ideas moving. So it we like talked about it. And then my mom hung up the picture on her bed mirror or dresser mirror, and it just sat there. And then by the time I came back from college, or came back from my freshman year of college, I ended up changing it to Diabaddie. That was when the word baddie was popping. Yeah. All the girls was calling each other baddies in 2019. And I just wanted to see a baddie that was type 1 diabetic. So I was like, instead of Diabaddie, I'm going to do Diabaddie, because it's giving more my age too.
Elevated.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Wow, I didn't know that about you. That's so cool.
I know. I need to. I need to start showing the old stuff. But
yeah.
Like, okay.
So let's backtrack for a minute. Can you tell me about the moment, and I only know this because I'm your friend because you told me about it. Can you tell me about the moment where you really realized that you were somebody living with a disability?
Ooh. Was this like 2 years ago? Maybe I want to say like about 2 years ago, or more. So these past 2 years has really been like the reality hit of that. It's like, no matter how well I perform, or like no matter how well I'm doing in life, I still have a chronic disease. And I think when I was younger, maybe because I had like more family support, or I hadn't had the disease for that long, technically. Like, I'm just getting on I'm about to come up on my second decade with type 1 diabetes. Wow. So your body changes every 7 years with the chronic disease. And so I think this year, these past couple of years have been the years that I've been like, oh, like I'm actually not able to just bounce back like I used to. And so I used to be like diabetic, not disabled, but now I'm like, oh, I'm actually like, I don't want to say it in a negative term because I don't want to say the word disability as if I don't have the ability to do what I want and like live my best life. But I have learned that I have some differences than the average person. And that was a reality check for me. I can't bounce back the way I used to, or I need to change some of the things that I do so that I can bounce back. Yeah.
Wow, no, that's really important.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that your body changed every 7 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I'm not mistaken, I believe when I went to my endocrinologist, she was telling me, like, yeah, like your body like changes every 7 years, and like you like build insulin resistance. Like for people who have type 1 diabetes, you'll build like resistance to the medication. So sometimes you'll have to change medication because your body has just got used to taking the same medication over and over and over again. Yeah. And so it's like, okay, like we already know what this is. We're not really going to react to it. Wow. So those changes, and then you have your hormonal changes that affect all of those things. Even with the average person, their body changing. So yeah.
That's really good. That's really important. So for those who don't know, Antoinette is also a model. Yes. As well as being a baddie. What are some challenges you face while managing diabetes in the beauty world?
That's a good one. I think preparation. I've noticed since being in the beauty world that some things can be very last minute, or they can be very quick. Yeah. It's like spur of the moment. Yeah. And if like for all my diabetes out there, or for anyone that's like, even the guys living with type 1 diabetes, the arts world is very much spur of the moment, like get it when you can, like hopping on the train's moving, let's get on, like it's moving right now.
This is your once in a lifetime opportunity. You hop on it now or get left behind.
Right. Diabetes, you don't care about none of that. So I try my best to schedule everything so that I can be like, stay ready so I don't have to get ready. But I've had to go through a lot of like shaping to reframe my mind on how to deal with things not going always as planned. Wow. Because if there's like a change in maybe I have to go on stage at a certain time, and this is kind of like the dance world, even in my dance background, like I used to dance, I'm still seeing some of the differences of just like going on stage at a different time, or your call time being at a different time than I expected. And it's like, okay, well, I ate a snack 3 hours ago. My call time was supposed to be in 2 hours, and now my call time's not for another 3 hours. And so those things do affect my health physically. And so I have been in a position of having to just be more precautionary and to have more resources around as possible, or think ahead of like, okay, if this doesn't go, like I have to think of 4 different scenarios of the way a casting or the way a shoot or the way an event that I am at will go, so that I don't miss my opportunity or miss my moment as an artist because my diabetes got in the way. And I don't like letting diabetes get in the way of nothing. So,
period. Well, that definitely leads us to our next question on how you saw yourself, and even after your diagnosis, how you reclaimed your beauty after, you realized like, I have this illness. Yeah. Especially in those spaces of like you're being around people that typically have healthy bodies. You don't have to worry about that. Yeah. But, you're reminding yourself like, yeah, I know I'm beautiful. I'm gorgeous, clearly. But like that thing in our minds, or that thing that whispers, the enemy that whispers, telling us things about ourselves that we're not qualified, or remember you have that, remember you had said something like, you're like, well, I'm always reminded like my pancreas is different. Like you said something like that, and I was like, that sometimes isn't coming from us, it's coming from. So like, how do you reclaim your beauty, especially in those spaces?
So something that I recently have been doing is reading the book of Genesis. And I love Genesis. It's juicy. It has a lot going on in there, like the good and the But the first 7 chapters, specifically chapter 1, I think I read multiple times. Just about like the way the earth was created and how like God hovered over the earth and like the way he dealt with the ground and like the way he did the plants and like the order. And so as I've recently transitioned into the fashion world, I have developed an admiration for how much time goes into developing things. And so that's how I get regrounded, where I'm just like, everything is so specific. Like it's ordainedly designed. I don't know if that's even the right way to put those, but it's like divinely designed is a better word. Like it's just like particular. Yeah. And so that's something that brings me peace when I think about myself. Because I think a lot of models, I was talking to one of my friends the other day and she's a model. And I think we go to like castings or you can, get your digitals done, headshots or photos that you want, and you're submitting them to these agencies or you're submitting them to these companies that you want to work with. And they're looking for a specific person. And sometimes when you don't get them, or sometimes when you get feedback from them, they will have something to say about, oh, you don't fit the look because of this, or you don't fit the look because of that. And I think something that carries me in these moments is understanding that God created me so specific that any door I walk through, even in a casting, even with getting booked for a shoot, that it was meant to be. Like it was by purpose. It was by design, because every interaction is a spiritual connection. And so it makes it a little bit easier for me to deal with rejection in the spaces. And then it makes the doors that I do walk through even more compelling, because I'm like, this is exactly where I'm supposed to be. I was designed for this. Body, spirit, mind, character was specific to this project.
Yeah, literally. Well, that is kind of Studio X's foundation. Genesis 1:27 for men and women made beautifully in his masterpiece, created in his image. And that's literally like the motto behind everything Studio Extra. So you definitely hit it on the head. You done shook the wall.
I was like, I heard ya. That's glad that happened.
You know when that Holy Ghost start moving, girl, you just don't know where he gonna go. But you said something that I really like. You're like, the lack of representation too plays a part. So if you had the power to reshape some things in the beauty industry, what do you feel like needs to change, and how would you change it?
I think beauty companies, the beauty industry as a whole, has more room to step in as an advocate. And I say that because I work with several health organizations. I've worked with some of the top health organizations in the world. And the one thing that lacks in connection with a patient, or lacks in connection with someone dealing with a chronic disease such as diabetes, or even something like cancer or something along those lines, it's that cultural representation that really takes them overboard. The ability to see something that they already admire, that they think would never be connected to what it is they're going through, supporting it. So when I was working as a diabetes navigator at Hopkins, one of my main conversation starters with my patients before I ever even talked to them about their diabetes was, oh, where did you get this shirt from? Oh, where did you get these earrings from? Oh, who did your hair? And so then it would open up a space for me to get to know them as an individual outside of their medical condition. And then once we got into the conversations about whatever it is they were dealing with, then it was easy for them to feel safe or comfortable with me. Because I think when we're not feeling good internally, we may not show up our best externally. But when we have products and businesses that are attributes in our external figure and how we look, like our clothes, our earrings, our makeup, when you have those things supporting you, then it makes you feel more welcomed, and it makes you want to indulge in those things. It's like, okay, I'm going to put on this makeup because I know this company supports diabetes. And like, I know by using this product, not only am I making myself feel better, but I'm also supporting the other people that feel the same way as I do. Mm-hmm. And so I think the beauty industry has much more ability to make an impact in the medical spaces than they think they do. Yeah.
I know that's right. So now we're going to talk about the next generation and how you personally redefine what it meant to have diabetes, and how do you stand on those pillars and communicate that to the younger women that's watching you?
I think it's my kind of like my slogan, my personal slogan is like, I'm just a baddie with a broken pancreas.
I know that's right.
Like, quite literally. Like, when people say I'm just a girl, that's like my I'm just a girl version in the diabetes world. Like, I'm literally just a baddie with a broken pancreas. So I think when you are diagnosed with a medical condition, sometimes it can be easy to allow that condition to consume your life, or to allow that condition to control your life. Me, what's that TikTok to be like, this month? Like, that's how I feel about my diabetes. I'm like, this mine. So you can revolve around my world and roll with the punches of my world. But I really have to sometimes really push myself out of the mindset that I'm like, oh, my diabetes is the center. Like, you cannot be the main character. Sorry. Like, you just can't. Because I feel like when you allow your medical condition to be the main character, then you take away from yourself, and it's just a minuscule piece of you. It may be daunting, it may be hard to deal with, and it may be a struggle at sometimes. But when you think of it of like, I'm the main character and you're just a character in my story, then you can control it a little bit better, and look at some of the experiences with it differently. And be delusional like me. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, my sugar went low. Must not have been supposed to be talking to that person. Because I'm the main character. Like, if my blood sugar, like, doesn't allow me to participate in something, I'm like, wasn't God will. Wasn't meant to be.
Redirection. Oh, it is what it is. Yeah. And it's also turning that your diagnosis as your superpower, meaning like that rejection was never meant for me to be there. So it's an easy blockage. Like, bloop.
And sometimes even the delay, like sometimes my sugar being high will cause my whole day to be delayed. Because for people that don't know, like when your blood sugar goes above 180, your body, your blood starts becoming like acidic. It's like once you get to like those 2s and the 3s, people go into like diabetic ketoacidosis, also known as DKA, because their sugar is so high and they're dehydrated. And so then your blood is actually like becoming acidic, and that's why you get so sick. And so when you're in that middle phase, before you get to DKA, when your sugar's like 280 in the 300s, it can be very hard on your body because your blood and your body is shifting into that phase, and you're trying to catch it by drinking water and giving yourself insulin so that it doesn't get there. And so like that can cause a drain, and it slows my whole day down. But there's been times when like I had one of those moments, and then everything else for the rest of the day kind of was already delayed anyway. So it's like, okay, I would have been mad if I was like early to all this stuff. So I'm glad that happened. Not glad that I was not feeling well, but glad that I had the delay so that I wasn't somewhere I wasn't supposed to be when I wasn't supposed to be there. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's also beautiful because you never know. I think about one time I locked my mom's keys in the car by accident. So it was like, you never know. And then somebody walked up to her and was like, well, you never know why she did that. Like, she doesn't typically do that. So don't be mad at her. You don't know what God was protecting you from leaving this area. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, you don't know right now because we're here, but, you know, the Father will reveal to you in heaven why he allowed you to experience this, you know? It was probably just an easier mechanism to protect you from a whole bunch of stuff, you know? So while we wrap up, I have to personally thank you for sharing your first of all, your history, your story, and I want you to also share your future. What things can we support you on, or can we celebrate, or what do you have next for Diabaddie?
When is this coming out?
I don't know.
Ooh.
But, we can speak it to existence.
Okay, well.
Maybe like late July.
Oh, perfect. We already gonna been done there and back. I'm taking, so basically Diabaddie has like 3 programs now. We're in the process of rebranding. So in August, during our 6th-year anniversary, we will be launching our full rebrand. And so we'll have the Future Healthcare Professionals program. We'll also have our syndicated camp scholarship program, which we've already had since we started. But then we'll be adding in the Diabaddie Link Up membership. Ooh. And so that'll be a place for the Diabaddies to link up online, link up in person, link up through events, live workshops. And so I'm excited for that because we're going to do our first pilot of the Diabaddie Link Up program. We're taking 7 girls to Chicago, Juneteenth weekend. And we're so good. Studio Extra has already been so supportive of that journey, so we wouldn't have been able to do that without you guys and your support. So, but we're taking some baddies to Chicago, some Diabaddies to Chicago, and we're taking some Diabaddie allies. Mm-hmm. They're going to go with us to the American Diabetes Conference, and then we're also going to be, outside having fun, baddies doing baddie things, and it's going to be some of these girls' first time ever meeting someone else with type 1 diabetes. That's in their same age range. We have people coming from LA, people coming from Baltimore, New York, and Florida. And they're all going to meet in one place and hang out and get to learn more about how to support each other with diabetes and learn more about each other's lives, too.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So how can we connect with you online?
You can connect with us online at Diabaddie.org, O-R-G, Diabaddie. I said that backwards, so we're going to try again. You can find us online on Instagram, Diabaddie.org, Diabaddie.org. And then you can also find us on our website, which is Diabaddie, Diabaddie.org, O-R-G. Yep, you can find us right online. You can donate online, help us send more kids to camp, help us create more opportunities for future healthcare professionals, and help us link more Diabaddies in the future.
Awesome. So thank you for joining Out of the Ordinary. If anything stuck with you, comment. Make sure you like and subscribe. If anything blessed you, please come meet us in the comments. And I am your host, Jordan Eastep. And thank you, Antoinette, for coming. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Blessings on blessings, yeah. I see the blessings coming our way. Blessings.